Everybody see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anybody using Google Docs?
No.
Okay. If you're confounded by that process, you can also use Office 365 with your OSU.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Okay. Well, all right. So when you open up Word or any software, word processing software, and I'll go slow if you need to open for me to slow down. Feel free to, slow down, Rivera. You're going to create a blank document. Why? Imagine, Mr. Castillo, you go to the library and you sit down on the computer and you start it up. What do you think the person before you was doing?
Probably typing up something or doing some kind of research.
Yes, and particularly in word processing, he was probably using a different format or using the default.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's right. So don't assume that when you walk up to the computer or use your software that it's already set up for you. It is not. You have to set it up. And the reason I do that is to make sure people are actually paying attention to what they need to do. Mr. Martinez.
Yeah.
If you're a computer programmer, how many lines of code do you have to read before you find an error? You have
Usually it doesn't take that long.
Yeah, you have a compiler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because understand, you have to physically look for these things to make sure that happens. So here we go. I'm going to create a blank document. All right. First of all, and at the bottom of the modules, there's a series of still photographs to be found under what's called formatting your papers. I made them a long time ago. There's a few changes on them, but they're still good. Here you're going to change to Times New Roman 12 bolded. Did everybody catch that?
Yeah.
The font, the size, and the bold. All right. And then what you're going to do, and you can do it in a particular way, but I'm going to go to layout because I want to make sure that I create my custom margins, not somebody else's margins. So you want to make sure this is all 1 inch all the way around. And make sure everything is to 0. Oh, sorry, here we go. All of this should be 0 for spacing. And you want to go here to indent and spacing. Make sure this is 0. Make sure this is 0. Set this initially for single space, and then add check on don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Now, some of you are using Office that's 2011 and earlier. Is anybody using that, or you all have a new Office? Okay. If by chance you ever encounter an old issue of Office that's older than, say, 2016, the wording is different here. It doesn't have the word don't. It just says add space. You don't want to do that. All right. Am I leaving anybody behind? And this will be, I'll put this up later. All right. Now, line of page breaks. Everything should be unchecked. Okay. So unchecked. Single to start, and then you're going to change it after I finish it. So your PSR is going to have line 1. If you haven't read it, you should. Okay, the line 2 is going to be the date. And what is line 3? Does anybody remember? I know, it's the first day. Oops, sorry. And then the title, it's going to be, George Washington, for example. Now, as you can see, I'm going to move back to home. Line 1, line 2, line 3. That is standard on all your papers. When you do the second one, this will change to line 2. When you do the third one, this will change to line 3, so on and so forth. But let me give you a hint right now. See what I just did? It's the backwards P. You should always see what's underlying the code. You can't see your hard returns or any return, backward P, because what happens is somebody will get to page 3 and not look at that and then turn in a 4-page paper because they didn't look at the various codes embedded in the document. All right, enter twice, and then you switch to double space. Everybody with me so far? Oh, somebody's, no. Okay, so again, your name, the date, and the title. You will not have to use the title anymore. I know the work. You'll only have to use the author's name once, if known. Because I don't want you to use every sense of Mr. Jones wrote about George Washington, period. Mr. Jones said George Washington went to town, period. Mr. Jones said George Washington went to town riding on a pony. You understand what I'm saying? And people have done that. Also, don't repeat yourself throughout the paper. You're going to have limited space, and I'll show you what you want to avoid. There, it starts double space right there. Okay, we're on page 2. And you see the code. It shows you where you're at. And okay, we're going to get to page 3. The last line on page 3 with no hyperlink. Don't. So let me do it here. No hyperlink. Y'all know what I mean by hyperlink?
Yeah.
Yeah, no hyperlink. Don't. Usually it's a thin blue line under there. That's how I know how people are putting in documents from somewhere else. But if you turn this off, all you see is the bottom of page 3 and you don't see anything else. So I've had people who have turned in multi-page documents because they don't pay attention to all those coding. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen, sorry, Miss Troyer, there's only one of you right now, so, is you want to not use on your website. You do not want to use a .com verboten, and you don't want to use Wikipedia, that's verboten. So you can use a .com, a .org, or a see there, it created it. No. Or I'll cut them all at one time. So these are your 3 choices. And as long as they end in an org, a gov, and a com, but no Wikipedia. And this should be your last line. And you'll only need one website because one of the questions is going to talk about what you encountered with that website. Simple rules. A paragraph consists of at least 3 sentences. A paragraph cannot run the entire length of one page so that you have 3 pages and 3 paragraphs. Yes, that's been done. In addition,
Oh my God.
what's that?
I was just laughing.
No, I am serious. I'm serious. I teach from high school students all the way up to senior citizens. And you won't believe doing that. So now you'll get your questions out of the rubric. The rubric tells you how to set this up. You get your questions. Read through the questions before you start writing. But in addition, you have 16 or more primary source readings to look at, and you can pick two. Some of them are longer than 3 pages, some of them are shorter, and you want to look at the question before you start writing so that you don't end up writing a whole bunch of stuff and then forget you wrote and it goes on to page 5. And I've had students who turned in 7-page documents. I gave you the best answer on the last page. Well, that was on page 3. Now, again, let me state why this is going on. You're going to have to learn, particularly, how many of you are on TikTok? Anybody?
What? TikTok?
TikTok. Or how many characters on Twitter? Is it 248 now? I'm old. I don't use Twitter. You want to deliver. What's that, Ms. Troy?
I don't use Twitter either.
Well, and look, for you, you all look like you're under 25. Am I right? Mr. Castillo, you're older than 25?
Yeah, I'm 29.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah, I know. Old man out here.
that's okay. When I was your age, you have to listen specifically. When I was your age, I was dumb and stupid. At this age now, I'm still dumb and stupid. I just have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And ask your parents about that. So again, I will put this up on Carmen. They have my media, so I can set that up. But the whole goal is to get you to answer the questions in a very tight, concise, literate manner. If you work for a boss who says, I have $1 million to spend, I need a 3-page proposal that covers all the points of how to spend the money, and you give them a 1-page proposal or a 10-page proposal, odds are your proposal will end up in a particular can. Right? So what I'm trying to do is help you understand, read what you're doing, because people will not do that in many cases. And yes, you don't have to staple these papers when you upload them either, but keep a spare copy. So does anybody need me to go back over this?
No.
Let me pull up. All right. Like I said, the course materials are open. If you see this hanging down, that means it's open. Week 1 lecture is open. Well, multiple lectures. And week 2 will open on Monday, Sunday night at midnight, and close at Friday night the following Friday. But if you see the readings are open, where you see the green, the readings are open. So you have to cursor down. And week 1 through week 8 readings are available for you to read. Week 9 will open up the 9th week itself, along with the rest of them. But see, formatting your papers, there's a series of documents here. The one for the font type and size, that's an older one. It shows you where to select your font size and type. It says Courier 10 or 12. Disregard that. You want to use New Times Roman 12 at thing. Here's the reveal codes, how to check your spelling and grammar, margins, paragraph drop down, another paragraph drop down menu. There's several of them. So